This is the VoiceOver Marketing Podcast, episode 15.
Hey there, John. Oh, I see you still have that big metal phone number shackled to your leg. That's got to be tough.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the VoiceOver Marketing Podcast. My name is John Melly, and this is the podcast dedicated to teaching in-depth and advanced marketing strategies for people in the voiceover and audio production professions. My goal is to help you make more money by showing you ways to leverage your time, charge more for your talents, and allow you to spend more time doing the things you want to do in your life. Hey there, it's John. Welcome to this episode. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I do appreciate it. How are you? We have a terrific guest today. His name is Zephan Blacksburg, and we're going to talk about how you can use videos to grow your business. And I'll get to our conversation with Zephan in a few minutes. But geez, I think spring's fast approaching. We're wrapping this one up, and if you're in the United States or Canada, anywhere in North America or the Northern Hemisphere, I can tell you this winter has been one for the record books. I can remember back this fall here in New England, we had a relatively mild fall, and I was hopeful that that same thing would happen for the winter. But no, we experienced the polar vortex or the Arctic vortex. It's been downright cold. And Ann and I were in the kitchen the other day getting ready to go to work. And I think it was a Monday morning, and I was eating breakfast, and I'm looking out the window, and it was freezing. But the weekend was beautiful. It was in the 50s. It melted a lot of the snow. And then it's like 18 degrees on Monday morning, and you got to go out and go to work. And I looked out the window, and I just said, you know, this is when they start jerking you around. And she started laughing. She said, who's they? And I said, Mother Nature. This whole 50-degree, this tease of spring. And then it's down to like 12 degrees the next day. And then it's back up to 48. And then it's like 15. Back and forth and back and forth. I'm tired of it. I'm sure you are too. Spring is supposed to happen this Friday. I want to thank everybody for all the great comments we've had about the previous episode of the podcast, how to use Evernote to increase your productivity. Very popular episode. A lot of great comments, a lot of downloads in a short amount of time. It's one of our most popular episodes yet. And speaking of downloads, we've had 8,153 downloads. I am really excited about that. And they're from all over the world. And just to prove that, we've had a number of people from around the world join the VoiceOver Marketing Podcast group page on Facebook. And I just want to give a shout out to, and I hope I get your names correctly. Please forgive me if I mispronounce them. Shout out to Given Ngaze Kunodzia from Zimbabwe. Thanks for saying hi and joining the group. Kurt Matthews, Susie Bilefist Jang, Brunch Eloise, Adrian Taylor, Catherine O'Brien, Graham Spicer. Graham, thank you for your nice note. I appreciate that. Megan Wilson, Glad Faith Clausen, Christian Ramos, and Jason J. Alexander. Thanks for joining the VoiceOver Marketing Podcast group on Facebook, and feel free to share your comments and your feedback at the Facebook group page, but also at voiceovermarketingpodcast.com. Also, if you look on the right-hand side of the page, there is a free app. It's called SpeakPipe, and you can use the microphone in your computer to send me a voice message, and it's totally free. Not enough people are taking advantage of that. How come? Maybe you've got nothing to say, which I find hard to believe. Anyway, it's been an interesting couple of weeks here in the studio. I'm sure everybody has gone through this. We have upgraded the computers here, and they've put new software. I went from Adobe 3.0, which I have been using for years perfectly well, to Adobe CS6. And it's kind of like the last couple of weeks has been, where'd all my stuff go, itis? Because I had a lot of EQ settings and presets and mic presets and all that, I'm able to get them back. But things are just in a little bit different place. The other thing is, if anybody out there is really good at Adobe CS6, one of the things I'm really missing in this version is the ability to add the shortcut toolbar. So anything in the effects menu, the amplitude and compression, I use dynamics processing a lot. I use normalize a lot. I use the EQ and reverb stuff a lot. I used to be able to have a menu up at the top where I just click on the button and it would pull up that dialog box that you could put all your settings into. I can't figure out how to do that in Adobe version 6. So if anybody out there knows how to do that, could you drop me a line? I would really, really appreciate it. So let's move into our conversation with Zephan. At the end of our conversation, I'm going to talk about Zephan's upcoming event on Friday, the 21st. I just want everybody to understand that I am not making any money or a referral fee or a commission by recommending that you sign up for this event. It's totally free. As you'll hear in the interview, Zephan and I have worked on projects for a few years now. The only reason I'm recommending it is because Zephan is very smart. He knows a lot of great stuff, and I know you'll benefit if you attend his event. So with that being said, let's jump over and talk to Zephan. Well, welcome back. As I said in the first part of the program, my guest today is Zephan Blacksburg. And Zephan and I have been collaborating for a number of years. I was doing voice tracks for a company called Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle. And that is Bill Glazer and Dan Kennedy. And some of you listening may know of them as two of the top marketers, direct response marketers in the world. And Zephan worked for Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle, and he would put together all the videos. So I would record all the voice tracks, and then Zephan would take what I sent to them and put that together with video images. And you did that for a number of years, Zephan, and you've since gone out on your own, and you're now called the go-to video guy by top marketing experts all over the world, including Dan Kennedy, Bill Glazer, Mara Glazer, and Angelique Ruers. And you left your job at Apple to start ZMB Media, which is based in Baltimore. It's a video production company, and you provide video marketing services to small business owners and entrepreneurs all over the United States. And you've been hired to create videos for AAA, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Philadelphia Flyers, and now you coach small business owners with your course called Lights, Camera, Cash In. It's a coaching program. And Zephan, we've collaborated for a number of years, but I'm really excited. You reached out to me the other day talking about your coaching program, and we're working on another project together for my business. And I said, let's get you on the podcast because you know all kinds of ways that business owners can market their businesses using video. So, hey man, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Oh, I'm really excited to have you here and share with our listeners some of the information that you have. So, Zephan, tell me your story. How did you get into this whole video production stuff? And then we'll dive in on how we can use videos to market our products and services.
Sure. Well, I've been doing video for quite a long time now. It's something that I went to school for, so my degree is actually in digital video and cinema studies. I had a lot of formal training on every single camera in existence pretty much, and I can edit on multiple editing platforms. So it started there, and I actually produced and directed my first feature film my senior year of college, and that's actually recognized on IMDb. It went to a few film festivals.
Oh, wow.
And it really just took off from there.
What was the title of the film?
It was called 6 Things I Know About You, and it was actually a true story written by a college friend of mine who tragically had lost his mother while he was a student in college, and because he was a writer, decided to write a story to help him cope with it. He actually wrote the story of his life, and we turned it into a script.
Oh, that sounds very powerful.
You're right. And then ultimately I was picked up by Glazer Kennedy right after college, so I was fresh out of college. And it was pure chance. I saw a listing on Craigslist, and normally we don't think of Craigslist as having high-quality job listings, but it was for Glazer Kennedy, and sure enough, they hired me about a week later.
Oh, that's cool. I've done some work with Bill for some of his coaching clients, and actually I did a joint venture with him a few years back before he sold Glazer Kennedy. But tell us a little bit what it's like to work with those two marketing geniuses.
You know, they are extremely intelligent. I would always go to them even if I just wanted to ask or to learn something for myself. And there's just so much content to be taken away from them. And I can't believe how much I come away with every single time I'm talking to them or I read one of Dan's new books. Or even if it's just an email back and forth with Bill, he always wants to know how I'm doing and how my business is doing. And even just in conversation, he'll pass along really good tips for you to use. And it's really nice to have somebody that does that for you.
Yeah, he's great that way. I've had similar experiences where we'll just be standing in the hallway waiting for a speaker to finish up their portion of the program, and he'll start asking me questions. Or this, I haven't seen Bill in a couple of years now, or about a year and a half, but he does. He just asks questions and throws these nuggets at you like, oh my God, there's pure gold there.
Absolutely. And he's very down to earth. I always appreciated that, when he got into work, I was usually there already, but he would always stop in, whether it was in the morning or before he left at the end of the day, just to kind of say hi and check in on us. And I really appreciated that. He's just such a kind person.
Yeah. What was, if you could, and then we'll talk about video production really quickly. A lot of folks in voiceover think that, and businesses in general, they think that their business is different because, and then you fill in the blank. But one of the things that I try and point out through this podcast and other things is that really every business is the same in the sense that we need to attract clients. We need to provide great products and services for them, and we want them to come back and do more business with us. And every business needs that. So if there was one thing that you could take away from all your experience at Glazer Kennedy, or a prime marketing lesson, what would it be?
Well, one big important thing that I had to keep in mind, even when I was just starting my business, was that so many people will get these ideas and someone will say, oh, well, that's been done before. And the truth of the matter is, if someone else is doing it, it's probably a marketable business. It probably means they're doing something right, and it means that there's people out there that want that product or service. So I was a little hesitant when I was starting my business, but I kind of took on that perspective and realized that there's such a huge abundance of customers out there. Not all of them are going to be taken up, and I really just wanted to start my business and try to make sure I could get really the greatest list of clients and customers that I love to work with. So I think people should just keep in mind that even if you're doing something that other people are doing, not to get discouraged, because your marketing is really key, and that's how you're going to get clients and customers to make sure that you have a successful business.
You said a couple of really cool things that I just want to reemphasize before we go into this. I think you're talking about, first of all, having an abundance mindset instead of a scarcity mindset, thinking, oh, well, it's already been done. There's no room for me. So that's number one. You got to turn that 180 degrees around. Like you said, if people are doing it, then there's money there. So yeah, do it. And
absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing that you said that caught my attention was that you wanted to build a list of customers that you want to work with. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Absolutely. So when I first got started, I actually was working still at Apple, and I was just part-time freelancing. And, I took on a client that was referred to me by someone, and usually with a referral, you would trust that the client is easy to work with or cooperative. And I found the client not to be cooperative and actually very hard to work with, and someone who spent a lot of my time. And it actually almost got to a point where I wanted to charge what I would call an annoyance tax. A tax because I know that they're going to waste a lot of my time. And a big lesson I learned is you can actually fire a customer. I learned that really early on, and I let them down easy. It was like breaking up with a girlfriend, but I was trying to be very polite about it. And I found that I can work with the people that I want to work with. And now I had the flexibility back then because I still had a full-time job and this was a side thing. Mm-hmm. But because I learned that early on, it really set me up to pick and choose the people that I wanted to work with. And the ones that I didn't, I would still refer them to someone else. I would still make sure that they were taken care of, just not by me.
Very, very cool. Now, you said you want to pick and choose the clients you want to work with. How are you doing that? Because this is important for folks in the voiceover world, because a lot of folks are using the pay-to-play sites, and they're auditioning, and they're competing with hundreds, if not thousands, of other voice talent for a limited number of jobs. But it's great when you can work with clients you want to work with. So how are you doing that?
Yeah, so I think that one really important thing to do is after you've picked up 4 or 5 people that you love working with, you should start polling them. Figure out what's their favorite TV show, what's their favorite books that they've read, who do they look up to, what are some other businesses that they're interested in. Start polling them and figure out what your target audience is, literally down to their favorite food and their favorite color, because that's how you're going to be able to target them later on down the road. And that's something that I actually used when it came to Facebook ads when I wanted to start building and growing my list and making sure I was bringing in the right people, I knew down to what they liked to eat at night, and what their business was and where they lived, and I knew everything about them so that I could make sure that I was targeting those people from that point on.
So you're kind of creating an avatar of your ideal client.
Absolutely, and it's always changing all the time as I get in new clients and customers. But I also try to go back and say, okay, well, where did I get them from? Is there one person that's referring me great clients every single time? Because I'm going to go back and send them a gift basket or flowers or something to say, hey, I love when you send me these awesome customers. Keep doing it.
Right. So can you share a couple of the things that you have that your clients have in common?
I would definitely say that they're very business-focused in the sense that they don't want to waste time. They're not going to rush me and say, hey, we just filmed that video, get it back to me in 2 minutes. But they want to get stuff churned out quickly, and that actually helps me out because then I don't keep a lot of projects in the tank that I still have to get done.
Oh, isn't that the
So
worst?
that's one really big thing that I love to attract is people who, they know what they want, and essentially, whatever amount of time you say you'll get it done in, they'll wait for it, but, you're going to work on it as soon as you get going. So I love that. I love not keeping stuff on the table, not having to keep projects open for months and months at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really a biggie for me.
What's their favorite food?
Their favorite food, it's really all across the board. So that's not necessarily one question that works as well for my business.
Okay.
It works really well for other businesses. Like if someone's in the desserts or the sweets industry,
Sure.
they'll know what these people are going after. So that was more of an example question.
Yeah.
But, anyone who loves pizza as much as I do is a friend of me.
There you go. So talk to us. Thank you for answering those questions. Those are key questions that not a lot of people address. Talk to us about your coaching program. What is it about video, and how can businesses use video to market their products and services?
Sure. Well, so I started doing video May of last year in a business full-time. I've been doing it for years, but I decided to kind of look back and say, okay, why am I not getting clients? Because I wasn't really marketing. I didn't really know what I was doing for a little bit, and I actually went a few months without any clients at all. And I said, okay, well, what would Bill and Dan do? Because, I was working at a company that taught business owners how to attract more clients.
Yeah.
So I started with taking a couple of videos, and I made some sales videos. I just said, hey, here's what I offer, here's what I do, here's some samples, here's people saying great things about our company, and then making sure there was a call to action. And I put these videos out there on my website, on Facebook. I was sending them out to friends. I asked for referrals. I even made a page that I sent out to friends where it was just a brief video saying, here's who I am, here's what I do, and if you send me a referral, I'll pay you, $20 or 10% of the project.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really big hit because people really wanted to send that out. And the video itself was like 2 minutes, so it really didn't take a huge investment on my part. And it was a one-page website that I crafted up in an afternoon, and it worked really well.
So people could create a video,
Mm-hmm.
and they could voice the video asking for referrals, and you're offering a referral fee.
Right, and so, you pick a fair percentage so that you can still afford to do the project, but you send a Visa gift card or whatever you want to send to the person that referred you, because that's a new client that you now have to hold and to keep as long as they need your services.
Right.
And so especially in the voice world, I'm sure there's plenty of people who aren't just a one and done. They probably have projects all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
That was a biggie for me. But there's actually another one that I wanted to tell you about was I started taking just some sample footage of mine, and this is something that can happen for voice or for any business owner, just taking samples. So I had a couple weddings that I had shot. I had some other videos I had done. I made just a 1-minute video, and I did some keyword research through Google to say, okay, Baltimore videography, what pages come up, what sort of words are they using? And I optimized this video on YouTube, and within a week I had like 500 views on it because all these people searching for Baltimore videography were seeing my video because it had reached page 1 of Google.
Wow.
And that's a big deal. I mean, I had a random antique car company call me from like Chicago, and I'm here in Maryland, and they had a car they were trying to sell for somebody here. and they wanted to hire me to take video and photos of it.
Huh.
And that was because they saw that video when they searched for Baltimore videographer. And so that's really something that any business can actually take advantage of.
That's brilliant. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what else? You got anything else that's good? I don't want to give away your seminar. We're going to talk about that.
Well,
but
I'll
if you
definitely give out some helpful tips and things. So most people don't realize that your website is, and this is a statistic, so the numbers are probably close to this, not exactly, but they say that your website is 53% more likely to appear on the first page of Google if you have a video on it.
Huh.
I mean, that's huge. It doesn't matter if it's a 60-second video or an hour-long conference that you held. But if you put, a 1-minute video on your page demoing your product, your service, whatever you provide, you are more likely to end up on the first page of Google. And, maybe 10 years ago, it was at that point where not everyone had a website. But now it's kind of like if you don't have a website, you don't really exist in the business world.
Right.
And so even if you have a small one-page website and you throw a video on it, you're more likely to show up in the search results, and you're more likely to bring in more customers.
On the homepage?
Just on the homepage. And that's also kind of based on Google's search algorithms. They want to see that you have content. They want to see that you have more than just words on the page.
Interesting. So you have an event coming up on this Friday, March 21st. And tell everybody what this is called and what it's about.
Yeah, so I'm holding a webinar on this Friday, March 21st, and it's called iPhone Video Client Attraction. It will be at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and 6 p.m. GMT. And basically, we're going to teach 3 key things. We're going to talk about the 3 key aspects to making effective videos. We're going to talk about how my first video ranked on page 1 of Google, so we're going to go into some more details about how I did that. And we're going to talk about how one client of mine, when she used my video strategies for the first time, she ran a live stream. She brought in $80,000 in 2 hours. And then she went and ran it again. So in a total of 2 4-hour live streams, she did one live stream probably a month or 2 later, she brought in $120K. That's $120,000 with 4 hours of work and 4 hours of video.
Well, let's she did some groundwork before the videos.
Yes, she did a lot of groundwork. She had a great presentation that came along with it, and she was presenting a very expensive coaching program. But to be able to sell that much in such a short period of time with video, and video being that vessel to help you sell, I mean, that's huge.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and she did it with pajama pants on because the camera was from the waist up, so you can't even tell.
What is it about the fascination with pajamas or pajamas? You can get a college degree in your pajamas.
For people that work at home, they like being comfortable, and especially on camera when some people can get nervous. I love to see people come in jeans or sweatpants or whatever they like to wear because, if you're not comfortable in front of the camera, people are going to notice.
Yeah, that's true. I don't feel comfortable in my pajamas. I got to get out of them and get dressed and showered and all that kind of stuff. Even if it's Saturday. Ask my wife. She knows. She's like, you get every day. I'm like, absolutely. I'm not ready. I'm not started until that happens. Anyways. So this is a free. It's not a webinar. It's not a teleseminar. What is it? It's a live stream that you're doing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of I'm calling it a webinar, but it's a cross between a live stream and a webinar because I have a presentation that's going along with it, but I will be live on camera with the viewers, and I'll also be taking questions through text message. So I'll be able to answer questions live. It's not one of those pre-recorded things that somebody threw up. I'm actually going to be there to answer questions and hopefully give some more knowledge and understanding to the viewers.
What are you going to I know you said what the 3 things you're going to be covering, but can you dive in a little bit more?
Yeah, so the big video that made it on the page 1 of Google, we're going to talk a little bit about keywords and what I searched for to make sure that happened. I'm also going to show, the stats behind it and what the description looked like and what the title looked like for that video. And so I don't know if our viewers know about keyword tagging with YouTube videos, but you can actually provide certain keywords with the video so that the search engines know what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also provide transcriptions of your video, so then they know exactly what you were saying throughout the entire video, and they have searchable text that they can use to help your video in ranking higher in the search engine.
That's really cool. I've often wondered why people put the transcription below the video, and that's what it is. It's the keywords, right?
Yeah, and it's not that people are actually reading it. It's more of that YouTube said, hey, let's add this feature in so we can do closed captioning. And then they said, wait a minute, now we actually know what the video is about other than just reading the title of the video, because we have every single word that's being said in it. So they have a whole script that they can now use as searchable text.
And people are doing that on their blog posts as well. I've noticed that a few times. So that's only helping rank their own homepages even more because it's more content and
Absolutely, and it lets you take a 2 to 5 minute video and you can get it transcribed, and that's your blog post, and you put the video at the top of it. So if people like to read, they can read it, or you can send it out in an email. And, the video is optimized, so you're going to get views on YouTube. It goes to so many places, and you now have so much content out of one little video that you can just share it everywhere, and it saves you a lot of time.
That's pretty sharp. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
So I want to move on to 6 key videos that I think everybody should have in their business, because I think that this is the biggie that's going to get people motivated and get people moving to try and do some more video. And it starts with what I'm calling tiny steps, or T-steps is the acronym for it.
Okay,
because
but
I really want to...
Zephan, before we do this is any business. Any business should have these, right? Doesn't matter if you're a voice person or a hardware store or a car dealer or a beauty salon or a meat cutter, whatever. Any business can use these.
Absolutely. So, so many people try to make a one-size-fits-all answer to the equation for people who are trying to market their business. And this isn't quite one-size-fits-all, because there really isn't a one size for everybody. Every business is different. Everybody's got a different product or service. And this is why I really love video, because you can change it and alter it for everyone. So if your audience is listening to voice, they aren't really used to seeing you on screen, so you can change it up. If they love seeing you on screen more, you can do that. If they don't love seeing you on screen as much, you can put up a little PowerPoint with an image, so it's very flexible.
Or you could roll some footage, but
right,
you don't have
exactly.
to be on it. You could just be pictures of some other stuff.
Right, so that's why I think that this is kind of the one-size-fits-all with flexibility, because I think that every business can take advantage of it and use it and kind of modify it to fit their needs.
Okay, so what are the 6 videos?
So it starts with testimonials, because obviously if we don't have people that are talking about our product or our service and saying how awesome it is, people probably won't buy. I know that when I'm someone who goes online to buy something, if I'm looking on like Amazon, I love reading through the reviews, because that's how I know if it's good or not.
Right.
If it's got 500 one-star reviews, I want to touch it, because I know that 500 people had a terrible experience. So testimonials are huge, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're making the best cakes in town, you want people to know about that. And if you're a personal trainer and you've led 100 people to lose 100 pounds, you want people to know that too.
Right. Okay.
So moving along, after that one is sales videos, because you have to ask for the sale. So if your business is word of mouth, obviously you want to try a different tactic to bring in new clients and new customers. You want to start looking at a sales video on a website and trying to drive traffic to that. And that's actually very similar to the videos that you and I worked on together in the past, where it's usually a PowerPoint on screen and there's a whole presentation, and then there's an offer and there's a sale. So that's something that
How many of those did we do?
Together. We've done tons. I was probably getting one a week from you at one point in time.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of those. After that is actually one of my favorite ones. It's web TV. I love this one because this is what we started with Bill at GTIC, and we started No BS Live TV, and it was basically a weekly TV show. It went out on, I think, Tuesday of every week, and we sent it out in our email newsletter. We posted it to social media. It was anywhere from 5 to 12 minutes, depending on how much you wanted to talk that day, of content, and it's straight content. So some people here might think, oh, well, why am I giving away all my secrets or all my answers? And The truth is you're not. You're just giving away incentives for more people to trust you and to buy from you. So if I'm a personal trainer, I'm not giving away the whole workout. I'm just giving away one exercise that might improve your posture if your job has you sitting at the desk all day. You know, I'm giving out little tips here and there every single week to build that like, know, and trust factor that we always try to use in the industry to gain more clients and to gain a bigger audience.
How do you do that?
It's not as complicated as it sounds because people hear it and they get really afraid that it takes a lot of work. All it takes is coming up with little tips or little tools that you can share on a video, no longer than 3 to 5 minutes, and we're posting it to YouTube each week. And there's a little process to just make sure that people are subscribing to your channel and that you're getting people to a website where you can collect their name and their information. But that's something that's going to happen on every single video, so it's the same process every time. The only hard part really is just coming up with the content, and it's not even all that hard because you can take all the questions that clients or potential clients have asked you in the past and provide those answers, and it's almost like a frequently asked questions, and that's your YouTube web TV show for the week.
I love it. I want to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
I highly recommend it to everybody.
Let's set this up. So anyway, in addition to the podcast, it's going to be voiceover marketing TV.
And, you know, this can be everything from, you know, you learned a little trick for...
I learned a little chick?
Voice. Yeah. The words got me right now.
There you go.
You're the voiceover guy.
Spring is coming. Love is in the air.
Right.
We'll edit
all
this
the
up.
great exercises beforehand. I wasn't as prepared for that one.
I was busting your chops, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, you know, so essentially you want to go ahead and post a web TV show, and it really only has to be 3 to 5 minutes. I think it's a great idea for anybody who's interested in doing so. But with that comes the fear of being on camera. So let me tell you this. There have been more deaths by shark attack in the last 30 years than there have of people getting in front of a camera. It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
People are afraid of a little camera that sits on their iPhone in their pocket. And the truth is they really don't have to be because they hold that thing closer to their head when they're talking to their mother than when they want to shoot a video. So they should really be more afraid of that.
That's true, yeah.
I want to kind of crush that fear because when you're talking to a camera, there's no one there. It's just you. It's like having a conversation. And a lot of the times you can even get a friend to film you. And this is what I do with most of my clients is I'll stand directly either next to or behind the camera, and I'll say, just pretend like you're talking to me. I know there's a little black box in the way, but just pretend like you can see me and that you're just chatting with me.
That's something that I share with people when I do interviews or when I have a client come into the studio. It's just you and I are having a conversation. We're just talking about your business or your products and services, and it's just a couple of people having a conversation. And
exactly. That's all it is.
You know what's a really cool tip or trick?
What's that?
Is to get them laughing. If you can,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you get them laughing for a couple of minutes beforehand, and they totally relax, and they just become, all that nervousness just falls away, you know?
Right,
so.
And it definitely helps if you know them, if they're not just a stranger, it's somebody you've met before. You know, maybe your significant other, maybe a brother or a sister or a best friend. Have them hold up the camera for you, and it's that much easier.
So how many videos have we covered now?
Yeah, so we've got testimonials, we've got sales videos, and we've got web TV.
Okay.
The 3 left are exposure, promotional videos, and a live stream. Exposure is that one that we actually talked about. It's getting you exposure online, getting a ton of views through optimizing it to make sure that people find it in the search engine.
Okay.
A little trick with that, just for some of the people listening in, is what I found and what I've actually kind of read. It's an unwritten, not law of YouTube, but little secret that most people don't know about is that these videos will gain more traction in the search engine if you give them views immediately after they're uploaded. So the one thing you really want to do is upload these videos and post it to Facebook and share it with a ton of people and just email like 50 people and say, hey, I just want you to watch this. because if you get views on it right away, it tells YouTube that you're kind of an important figure. You're someone that people want to see your videos as soon as they're uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
And so YouTube hasn't really come out to say that this is something that they do, but I've noticed that I'm going to get a lot more views on my videos when I get views right away.
That's cool.
So that's exposure, and that's really just that 1-minute video that I made. It was called Baltimore Wedding Videography, and that got people calling me from all over the place. And then after that, we've got promotional videos and a live stream. So promotional is pretty simple. That's the one that you want on your website homepage. That's the one that you want people to see first when they come to find information about you and your service or your product. And it doesn't have to be all that long, but you want to introduce yourself, who you are, who your company is, what your company does, and then you want to talk a little bit about the product and how they can find out more about it or get in touch with you.
That sounds simple.
Pretty easy. I actually have a set list of questions that I usually ask most people, and it doesn't matter what the business is, and it's as simple as those things right there. Is you can probably have a promotional video filmed for yourself in 5 minutes.
There you go. And like we said, every business is different in the sense of what products and services they may be providing, but we're all the same in the sense that we need to attract customers, make them happy, and have them coming back and referring.
Exactly. And last thing is the live stream. And this is kind of the same idea that I'll be using on Fridays. You know, I'm going to be providing a fairly long training with a lot of good content, just like we have here. And we're going to be talking about iPhone video client attraction specifically on this one. So on this live stream, we're going to go into how to use your iPhone to shoot videos, best practices, tools and accessories, and then how you can do those types of videos that we just talked about previously. And the reason why I love this live stream is obviously it's been wildly successful. That was one client's numbers with the 120K,
right,
two-hour live streams, but we started doing it more, and and we just now filled up an event that I think is in Phoenix, Arizona for one person, and we filled it up with a live stream.
Wow.
And the best part about it was we put a green screen up, and her whole event is kind of Hollywood-themed. It's called the Hollywood Backlot. And we actually used this green screen to put her in front of Paramount Studios in California when she was actually sitting in my kitchen in Baltimore.
Oh, that's so neat. I love it. Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
So that isn't, the green screen tactic isn't necessarily something that's easy for a one-man band to do, but if you want to get a video production company in on something like that and do something a little bit fancier, it really helps to get your clients listening and paying attention to you, because it looked like she just had a director's chair sitting in front of Paramount Studios.
That's fun. This sounds like a really cool live stream that you're going to be doing this Friday, the 21st. And it's all about using your iPhone. So, I mean, what a tool that's turned out to be for everybody. But now you're going to teach people how to leverage it even more for their businesses. So tell us.
I mean, we have it in our pocket all the time and usually every single day. So we might as well be using it to make money.
Absolutely. So if people want to attend and register for it, Zephan, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, we've got a sign-up page. It's at lightscamerascashin.com. So make sure there's an S at the end of lights and an S at the end of cameras. So lightscamerascashin.com/webinar-signup. And that'll get you to a page where you can learn a little bit more about what's going on the webinar, and you can also sign up and share it with your friends.
And it's free to attend, right?
Totally free, no obligation.
That's really cool. And I'm going to put a link to the website that you just mentioned on the show notes for this episode of the podcast. And
Great.
So say the address again. It's
lightscamerascashin.com /webinar-signup.
All right, well, that makes perfect sense. And, I've worked with Zephan for a number of years now. He's a smart guy. He's going to give you a lot of great information. And just because you're a voice person doesn't mean that you can't use this information. So go check it out. It's free. He's got great stuff. And if this podcast is any indication of some of the stuff you're going to be sharing, Zephan, I know people are going to love your live stream this Friday.
And I'm I'm really excited to share this stuff with people. You know, this is not one of those streams where we say, oh, you're going to make $1 million, and then you show up and we say, you can make $1 million after you give us $1 million. So this is something we're really going to give away a lot of great content, and I'm really excited for people to take away a lot of information from this.
Well, it sounds good. Give the link out one more time. And again, I'm going to put it in the show notes for this episode.
It's lightscamerascashin.com/webinar-sign-up.
Awesome. Zephan, if there's one thing you want people to know as a result of our conversation today, what would it be?
I want people to realize that a lot of the competition for any business, whatever industry you're in, is using video. And these are the ones that are killing it. These are the guys that are coming back and saying, oh, yeah, I just went on a vacation for a month because my business is doing great. And this is really what I want to stress to people, is that video is really the way of the future. And video is what's going to get more people paying attention to you and wanting to know more.
And this is only good for voiceover people because videos without sound are pretty boring.
Exactly. Unless you're Charlie Chaplin.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and that's a whole other story.
Exactly.
Well, Zephan, this has been great. Thank you so much for making the time to be here today. I got a lot out of it, and I'm sure our listeners have as well.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope that our listeners were able to pull away a couple of nice tidbits that they can use in their business as well.
All right. Be well.
Thanks.
Well, that's it for this episode of the VoiceOver Marketing Podcast. If you like this podcast, please subscribe to it at voiceovermarketingpodcast.com so you'll get notices of new episodes, and please share it with your friends and colleagues in the voiceover world. Also, it would be a huge help if you'd like this podcast and rate it on iTunes to help keep it near the top of the list. Feel free to share your comments and questions about this episode and future topics you'd like discussed at voiceovermarketingpodcast.com. And if you'd like more information on one-on-one coaching with me and mastermind group opportunities where we focus on growing your business, feel free to drop me a line at my cyber assistant's email address at mike@johnmelly.com. Thanks for listening. Now go out there and share your voice with the world.